North Korea has no real economy, no internet for most people. It has survived total economic isolation, famine, and some of the harshest sanctions ever placed on a country. The Soviet Union collapsed. Yugoslavia collapsed. Every communist government in Eastern Europe collapsed. But North Korea, one of the poorest, most isolated countries on Earth, is still standing. Since 1948, every single prediction of its collapse has been wrong. How? Here's what most people don't know. North Korea's survival isn't an accident, and it's not really about North Korea at all. It comes down to one country sitting right next door that needs North Korea to exist, almost as much as North Korea needs itself. Let's go back to 1950. North and South Korea went to war, and China sent hundreds of thousands of soldiers to save the North from defeat. Between 200,000 and 400,000 Chinese soldiers died in that war. In 1961, China and North Korea signed a treaty, under which China is obligated to step in militarily if North Korea is ever attacked. For decades after that, North Korea actually had Soviet energy and Chinese support, and was more industrialized than South Korea through the 1960s and 70s. Then in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Everything North Korea depended on from Moscow disappeared overnight. Most experts expected North Korea to follow. It didn't, because there was still China. Today, China accounts for roughly 95% of all North Korea's imports and receives about 2/3 of its exports. Without China, the North Korean regime would simply not exist. So why does China keep propping it up? China's biggest fear isn't North Korea. It's what happens if North Korea collapses. If the regime falls, millions of refugees could flood across the Chinese border. And just as importantly, a unified Korea would likely mean US troops right on China's doorstep, since 28,000 American soldiers are still stationed in South Korea. So for China, a weak, isolated North Korea, one that depends entirely on Beijing, is actually the safest outcome. China would rather have a stable, controlled neighbor than risk chaos on its border. There's an old saying Chinese leaders have used for decades: if the lips are gone, the teeth will be cold. North Korea is the lips, China is the teeth. So why does North Korea still exist? Not because it's strong, not because its system works. It exists because one of the world's most powerful countries has decided, for 70 years, that it's safer to keep North Korea alive than to let it fall. Every prediction of collapse has been wrong, because the people making those predictions forgot to ask what China actually wants. If you found this interesting, subscribe to Geo Explainer. We break down the world, one question at a time.